What is up, YouTube? That's it here. I'm back playing more Pokemon Sword and Shield VGC 2022 Series 12 Wi-Fi battles on the ranked ladder. We are using more Patreon submitted rental teams today, and this is a team that I've been waiting to use for a really long time. They call it Evil Reshi because it uses like Yveltal Reshiram, which are two restricteds you usually don't see paired together that often. It's also using a Throat Spray Yveltal boosted by Snarl, which is really cool. But I want to talk about the Suicune and the Reshiram. These are two of my absolute favorite Pokemon. Reshiram is my favorite, like, restricted Pokemon, like, favorite Uber, and Suicune's just my favorite legendary Pokemon. So the fact this team actually uses both of them in a really unique way, being able to go for a Bulldoze with the Suicune to then Policy Proc your Reshiram, gain speed control with things like Tailwind, Icy Wind, and Snarl. This is an absolutely amazing rental team. I would highly recommend people try this team out. I haven't even played the games yet. This is just what I like to do. I like to record my thoughts before we actually get into the game. And I really like the way this one looks on paper. I think Ferrothorn is a really good Pokemon too for dissuading people to just go all in with like Kyogres and water teams. Ferrothorn's a very good anti-Metamon. It's also pretty good versus like Ice Rider and stuff like that. This team can kind of struggle versus Ice Rider, probably kind of struggle versus Kyogre. So Ferrothorn seems like a really good option. The Lando seems like a solid addition. I'm not a big fan of Swords Dance Lando personally, but I understand why people like it. Basically, they just like to use the Swords Dance as a max guard if you're going to max it. Makes sense. Personally, the biggest issue I'm seeing with this team, just from the team preview here, is that you want to max too many mons. Not you, but just in general. The Yveltal wants to go for a Snarl, get the Throat Spray proc, and then Dynamax. That's fine. The Reshi also wants to max after getting a Policy proc. The Lando also, if it wants to ever protect itself, if it wants to use Fly correctly, which is Airstream, it has to max. And since you can only max one, it's a little bit obvious which mode you're going to be going to after like the leads happen every single game. So I would say that, again, I don't know if Lando might be the, it looks to me like Lando's a weak link here. I don't know if we want to keep the Lando, but I do think that it's a solid mon. The Swords Dance Fly makes it so you have to max it if you bring it, which means I'm realistically probably not going to bring it that much because I think Reshi and Yveltal are just much better max options. The Lucky Set's also really cool. I like the Reflect. I'm sure that's there to help like wall other like Trick Room teams. You basically, in certain situations, you can't stop Trick Room with this team. I can see that already against like certain like Fake Out, Mimikyu-esque boards. So in that situation, you would just probably throw up a Reflect and just like chill with the rest of your mons in the back. So I understand why that's there. That's pretty cool. I personally would probably use Thunderbolt, but I do like the fact you have like Volt Switch and stuff. I think Sash, full speed, full special attack Lucky is still really good. And I'm really excited to play this team. So let's hop into the games and see if we can win. Wish me luck. Here we go. All right, Thundi, Zacian Ogre. Thundi, Zacian Ogre. Okay. So right off the bat, I think Pharaoh's very good here. It's good versus things like Ogre, it's great versus Riolo, it's great versus Zacian in certain situations. If the Yveltal had like a fire attack, I would like it a little bit more in this matchup. It doesn't, so it's going to be a little bit harder to use. It's not that great versus Thundi unless we can get some speed control, and it's harder to get the speed control than I would like. Realistically, I'm looking at our Suicune item. I think that like maybe a Walkenberry might be better for Suicune. Or maybe even like a Rindoberry, just something that says like Suicune gets up the Tailwind, otherwise this combo doesn't really work. I'm going to try the Suicune though. I think Suicune's a good enough lead. I think Reshi is a solid lead against this team. Let's see. I think you still have to bring a Lucky. It's always worth noting that you should be bringing a Lucky in matchups where they don't have a ground type or a way to mitigate it. So no Shed or a ground type or something like that, or even like a Lightning Rod or another Electric Mon. Like we hit hard versus every one of those Mons, even the Rilla. So I think Lucky's good. And then the question is, do I want my Yveltal or my Ferrothorn? Ferrothorn gets KO'd by Incin. Zacian's Sacred Sword's a 2-shot. And, like, maybe Rilla has a fighting attack. Maybe Thundi has a fighting attack. Like, I think Pharaoh's probably the best play. Because if I save it till the very end in the right situation and they have a board that's, like, Thundi Ogre or, like, Thundi Grim, or, like, if we can deal with the Incin or deal with the Zacian, I think Pharaoh's going to be better than Yveltal. I think Throat Spray Yveltal is just a little bit harder to use than I would like. I think I would probably rather not use the Throat Spray there. I think it's cool, but like also like I personally just am not a fan of Yveltal without coverage for Zacian. So like I could have my Throat Spray and be procced, but like even a +1 Max Darkness doesn't KO Zacian, so I don't really like that. But I think it's cool. Yeah, there's the Grim set. That's good. That's one Mon that like those are two Mons that we can ignore with the Pharaoh realistically. So like we could realistically just switch out our we could just switch out Reshi for Pharaoh and just Snarl. We don't need a Tailwind right now. I don't think there's a reason to Tailwind just yet because we're going to be sitting there with a Pharaoh. We want to Tailwind in a little bit. Remember what I also talked about? Having that Walk-in Berry. Walk-in on Suicune would have been really, really good right here. Just, it'd be so much safer, you know? Just bring in the Pharaoh. Set up a Leech Seed or something. Which one of these would be more realistic to switch? Maybe the Kyogre? I don't think the Grim would be that afraid. So let's see what happens. Another thing about your Pharaoh is, I don't know if it's on purpose, but I noticed that your Pharaoh was impish and not like some sort of speed reduced item. Or sorry, speed reduced nature. And I like the speed reduced natures if you're going to be using Gyro Ball. I think it's pretty important. Big spout. Oof. Ooh, that's a lot to the Pharaoh. Wow. Are you Specs, bro? Or Orbed? Need to hit that? Awesome. Snarl's so good because it deals damage and gets the drop. So like, we could the Grimmel it's so good though. I also am just a fan of like, I'm looking at your items and stuff like that. Throat Spray, Veltal, Leftovers, and Sin. I think if you're gonna have a berry on Suicune, it's just better to have a citrus berry. Just because like it protects you from being doubled up on. Because like this turn, if like they were to go for like a spout that might not activate our Pinch Berry, but it would definitely activate Citrus and keep us out of range from Grim going for like a crit Spirit Break on us. Just my 2 cents. I don't need to go for Tailwind yet. There's no actual need to Tailwind yet. I will though. I want to be able to outspeed the Kyogre with Suicune. And I'll stick a Leech Seed on something. I'm just thinking who. I'll stick it in the Kyogre. I don't think that's switch. If they switch him for real, I don't really care. Kyogre protects, cool. Free Tailwind, which means you have free Snarl next turn. You can go for like a Thunder Wave or something, it's fine. Yeah, screens are fine. Like, I can't deal with them realistically right now, but if I can sit these Leech Seeds, we're in a good spot. I wonder if they actually brought the Rilla. Because if they bring the Rilla, and I make their board state like Rilla Grim, they're the ones that are storing my health with their Grassy Terrain, and then I would just switch in Reshi, and if your board state's Rilla Grim, I'm just not afraid, right? So I can just keep on Snarling here. And just keep Leech Seeding in that same spot. Always remember also to PP max your win condition moves. So things like this Leech Seed should definitely be PP maxed on this team. Just because it's a move that they can switch to mitigate, and so you want to be able to elongate that as much as possible. We could also stick it on the Grim, but realistically the Grim should be switching to Zacian to... It should be switching sooner than later, I would say, to keep tempo. Maybe they'll stay in for like 1 turn. Like if they had a taunt or something, they could go for it. If they have speed control, they might want to use it on the Suicune. Switching this turn, okay, cool. That's kind of what I said. Like, Zacian's a good Pokemon to switch that to. So we'll see. We do have the Tailwind up. Not that we necessarily need it. Sticking this... Oh, they're maxing the Ogre, so I'm still happy that we actually threw that... I'm really happy we threw that Leech Seed into their max slot. That's so important. Are they max lightninging the Suicune? Another situation where it would be nice if we had a Walk-in Berry, right? You see, like this Pinch Berry is just not doing anything for us in this situation. Citrus would be kind of okay, but yeah, the Pinch is just not doing us any favors. I mean, even if we activate it, that's like the highest roll that the Pinch can get, and we would just be so much better covered by Citrus or like something else. Hailstorm into Pharaoh? That shouldn't get the KO. You're at -2, buddy. You just maxed the -2 mon in my face. I mean, it's a lot of damage. But like, it's fine. You also took away your steroid from your rain. I'm really surprised they're not afraid of... I'm really surprised that they are not afraid of Scald into that Zacian slot. See, a Citrus would have activated right there. That would have been so much better for us. So much better. This Suicune would have been just an absolute amazing spot. Let's think about what the play is here. You do have the dual screens up. I'm going to switch up my Pharaoh for Reshi and pop the Bulldoze right now. Right? Am I wrong? Is that the play? We could Protect. I think Protect Pharaoh is not bad. And switch in Reshi on that slot. And then just stack Quakes. It's probably a good play too. I'll do it. Yeah, you need to max all of the... Like, I like that you max the Gyro Balls. Power Up should be maxed with PP Max. Leech Seed and Protect all need to be maxed on Ferrothorn. Because it's a Pokemon that plays for like the late game stall. And you don't want to get into situations where you get... like timer stalled and you have to struggle before they do. You always want to PP max those. So Turbo is active. Withdrawing their Maxmon. Yes, please. Cool beans. I wonder if they're going for a Sacred Sword into this slot. Grim, right? We don't know anything about that Grim. It could still have a lot of sneaky things to do. He could still be a little bit sneaky. Sacred Sword blocked. Awesome. Good turn for us. We're going to switch out Pharaoh, because I think you just want to save your Pharaoh realistically. We could switch it in for Suicune, and then that should activate our Pinch Berry. Maybe. Think about this. I don't know anything about that Grim set, and like I'm actually kind of afraid of like an Iron Ball set. I don't want to deal with that. No, he has Light Clay. It's dual screens. Save the Lucky in the back. I think you got to fodder the Suicune here. It's not even like realistically a fodder. We also will not KO with a Max Flare, so there's no reason to Max Flare. We just want to stick Sped F boost so we can 1v1 the Kyogre in the back. Okay, switching that Kyogre, buddy. Yes, this is so good for me. Alright, so they should realistically be taking a ton of damage here. And they do still have their Zacian, but we're going to get more speed control. The double switch. Is that a Rilla coming in? Insane. That's great. So we see all 4 of their Mons now. These 2 plus Grimm's Zacian, which means no Rilla, which means Suicune's in a great spot. We also don't necessarily even need the Pharaoh anymore. Because we see that they have like instant Zacian in the back. We just need Pharaoh to like be a bully for Kyogre. It's just an annoying Mon they have to deal with. Like we can switch it in to, you know, have fake outs and stuff like that. Have them take damage. But yeah, in this situation, getting a max Quake boost here is nice. I'd like to reapply my Tailwind sooner than later. I think this might be the last turn, but this is going to be good damage, and it's putting it's going to be putting a Spadef boost on our Suicune, which again, remember I was talked about at the beginning of this match? Imagine if we still have Walk and Bear on this Suicune, because then there's no way the Ogre would be able to Thunder KO us. Yeah, it would have been nice to max Flare there, realistically too, because it would make the Thunder less accurate, but it is what it is. I'd like to get my Policy proc here. Tailwind peters out. I'm going to reapply my Tailwind this turn. And I'm going to Quake the Incin. It's just good damage. Hopefully I can get away with this. Fake Out obviously will not be able to flinch our Suicune, but like Thunder probably KOs it, even after a Sped F boost. Fake Out, I mean you could do it just to get damage. Thunder, Origin Pulse, awesome, we're in a good spot. Cool, we actually got our Pinch Berry, so maybe I'm wrong, and this Pinch Berry is just the best thing in the world, but like, we would have been so much safer in so many more situations. It's not worth the 8% more that you get off of the Pinch Berry versus a Citrus, just to use a Citrus, because Citrus makes you so much safer. Yep, there's the Shuca Berry right there, that's fine, we can't really deal with that. Let's think about what we want to do here. I think it's going to be more beneficial to actually go after the Incin slot. Because actually if we take the Incin slot, then we can actually set up a board state where Ferrothorn's better. So like a Bulldoze play. Because Kyogre's also probably going to protect. It already showed protect earlier, I think. And we're going to Quake instead of Wormwind, just because I think it's a little bit better. So Bulldoze up. We can always Icy Wind out that Zacian next turn to basically mitigate the fact that we're dropping our own speed. Show me that Zacian! Oh, never lucky. Grim's fine. I don't want to deal with Grim either. I think this will KO. Maybe not. It might not. But either way, this is sick, right? This is so cool. Looks like they didn't protect the Ogre either. I don't know if this KOs. Good thing I didn't Wormwind though. Not Wormwinding was the right play. And we don't even need to set the sun or anything like that. Like, this is fine. I wish that would have KO'd, just because, like, Grim's annoying. And this is wasting our Tailwind turns now. I don't like that. Alright, so we're going to get this Kyogre off the board now. It's our last max turn. Maybe I should have Heat Waved or flared that turn. I think Heat Wave will still KO Grim. Because we can't let that Grim stick around and like get another screen up. This is its last turn light screen. Yeah, we'll just go for the Heat Wave. And they're like the same. I think realistically, Snarl would make it so we take less damage. I'm going to go for the Snarl. I think it's fine. If Zacian enters in, he switches in on a Heat Wave. Thunder Wave. Miss. We take it. We knew we had something sneaky. We knew there was something sneaky about that Grim. I had to risk it, you know, so it is what it is. That's great. Thunder Wave misses. Gotta use that scary face bar. What was that? Boy? I was gonna say bro and I said boy, and I said both of them at the same time. Awesome. Good damage. I'd like to burn the Kyogre too, but beggars can't be choosers, right? Their Origin Pulse. Now, he's snarled, and I'm at +2 Spadef. Yeah, I'm still good. White screen's gone. Now it's the big damage time. So Quake will just KO the anything they have, really. Let's think about what we want. Oh, it's the Zacian. I thought they were going to send Sin out. I was like, I can just Quake this. Or I thought they would send Sin out realistically and fake out the Reshi. But they didn't. Because I can just KO the Zacian right now. Tailwind's up. Yeah, last turn, Tailwind. So Zacian, yeah, I think you just go for the Icy Wind play. Icy Wind Earth Power KO Zacian. They're probably protecting this turn though, right? If they do that, I have a Lecky in the back. So like if you KO one of my mons here, that's fine. I can't stop it, so it is what it is. Good play. I'll give you this one. I think we have enough resources in the back to win the game still. I also don't know if I would have been able to... I think I would have been able to kill the Kyogre with that arrow, the Earth Power. I also like this play because it stops the Zacian from setting like a sub or something. That is how you lose the game. Origin Pulse can miss too. I never lucky. It doesn't even get the KO guaranteed either, so it's fine. Alright. We're just chilling. Alright, so we outspeed that Kyogre. Which means I think we still just Tailwind. Right? Do we still even want a Tailwind? Earth Power there. I'll take a Tailwind still. I mean, I don't even need it anymore. It's only good if they were to like switch out their Zacian. Otherwise, it's better to just Snarl. I'll just Snarl then. Player can miss. Never lucky. Yeah, Snarl's better than the Tailwind here. It keeps the Suicune alive, I think. And then we just come in with Lecky. And then we're probably fine. And then we just save the, what is it, Pharaoh in the back? Cut the Zacian, we take those. We actually could just switch out the Lecky for Pharaoh. And have the Zacian hit that. That could miss. Finally, it misses. Yeah, we can just Volt Switch into the Pharaoh and do Volt Switch plus a Snarl or something. Let's protect for one turn. No, I don't like that play. I like the Volt Switch into the Zacian. Realistically, I do. And just continue to Snarl. I wish we had Scald on the Suicune, but it is what it is. Withdraw Kyogre for Sin. Cool. I want to see if they're protecting with Zacian or not. I hope they're just player roughing the Lucky slot, because we want to do Volt Switch plus the we want to do Volt Switch plus the Iron Barbs into blocking like a player for something. No protect. Awesome. Good damage here. All right, one more of those after the player up tick into the Rocky Helmet, and we win. Or Iron Barbs, sorry. I think. Like, you know, it's still going to be hard. Please no sub. Play rough. Yo, let's go! Yes. Value. Absolute value right now. Alright, so that's within range, I would say. And Sin's also going to be kind of hard to deal with. Should we protect with this Pharaoh? Kind of hard to say, right? I'll get the Tailwind up this turn. Maybe I should have done that a couple turns ago. I should have been using Bulldoze to proc that Shucka. It's also my fault. The Insin's actually looking like a little bit more problematic than I want it to be. I wonder if they're going to throw the Insin into the Pharaoh slot and the Zacian, like, play roughs. I want my leftovers tick, so I'll take it. It's fine. I wonder if they're parting shotting. Flare Blitz. We're just going to throw that in there. Okay. Sashes are still up on my Lucky. Volt Switch would KO the Zacian, I think. This is one of those situations where, like, if you were also... If I was using this team, this is one of the reasons why you need to have, like, a Thunderbolt play. Because, like, you just don't do enough damage to bulky Zacians otherwise. Same thing goes, you don't do enough damage versus Sin. I understand this Lucky's made for pivoting, but it'd be nice to be able to secure KO the Zacian in this exact situation. Because then you secure KO the Zacian, the Incin's attack's going to get cut by the rain that's coming out in a minute. I think you actually have to just Electro Web right here. Which is not good, you know. I don't think Protect is the right play. I don't think Volt Switch would get the kill on Zacian. We actually need to do damage to Incin too, so I think you have to do an Electro Web. Okay. I wonder if they're Flare Blitzing my Aleki and don't get the burn, that's actually really good for me. There's a crit for me, I'll take that. I'll take that. Alright, Flare Blitz. Don't burn me, bro. Don't burn me, bro. Don't burn me, bro. Cool. We're good. We see these. And I think we can 1v1 the Ogre with the Pharaoh if we have to. If we have to. Because we're going to take that guy out right now. Let's actually... See, you see how nice Thunderbolt would still be here, though? It would be so good. I think the right play is actually protect Aleki and, like, Leech Seed the Zacian. If you can just a little bit more damage to Zacian, it's within Electro range. And then all I have to do is hit Electro and I win. If I were to just go for, like, a raw Electro right here, that would probably be bad. It would KO the Ogre, but Ogre's protecting. And then if it protects and they KO Zacian and it's just Pharaoh, he's out of range of 2 Leech Seeds. So yeah, we have to just go for the Leech Seed into the Zacian, because also if the Zacian just hits the Pharaoh, it's within the Electro range. It all comes down to me having to hit an Electro Web, and I'll take that. I'll take that. I have to hit 2. Sorry, I have to hit 2 Electro Webs. So let's see what we got. Protect Kyogre. That's the play that stopped the attacking with Lucky this turn. So they're probably attacking our Lucky then. Awesome. So all we gotta do is hit this Leech Seed and we win. Awesome. That's game. Well, I guess we still have to hit our Electro Webs. Actually, we don't. We don't have to hit Electro Web. We can actually just Volt Switch the Kyogre. He has to go for a double Protect here. That's his only out. Because Zacian's going to take out, not this turn, but the next turn. And Zacian can't fight both Ferrothorn and Aleki right now. So we're good. Yeah, we don't even need to attack this turn. We can just go for like a Gyro Ball or something. Yeah, this is the right play, I think. Kyogre has to go for double protect, and even if it does, I still win. Unless I get, like, awkwardly timed. Nope, we take it. Game went super, super long, but we did manage to get the win. This team's actually really, really cool. But those slight things I was talking about, like maybe think about using a different item on your Suicune. Maybe a Rindo, maybe a Walk-In, maybe a Citrus. I think those are all better options than the Pinch Berry that we currently have right now. All right. Kyogre Torn with a little bit of Trick Room. I think in this sort of matchup, Ferrothorn's good. I think this is a good example of, like, Ferrothorn can be really, really good here if we use it exactly the right way. I do think you want to lead Suicune in this matchup, though, in every situation. I think it's good for so many things. I also think Aleki can be really good here, because if you want to open up with, like, a Torn Ogre, I'm like, that's fine, I'm Aleki. And if you want to open up with, like, P2, I can just Volt Switch out into my Pharaoh. And if you want to open up Zacian, I'm like, that's fine, I'm Aleki. So I think that this is a good lead. I think you obviously still bring your Reshi, and I'm going to bring the Pharaoh. I don't think that Lando's that great versus Kyogre. I don't think that Yveltal is the right pick for exactly how they're going to play this. I guess we could go Yveltal instead of Lucky as the lead here. But, like, Yveltal Suicune gets taken so much more advantage of if they just sort of lead Torn Ogre. Or even, like, Venucle, I think. Just because Yveltal, it would have to max, and I really don't want to max the Yveltal. It'd be nice to get a Snarl off on the P2. Or something like that, but realistically, Yveltal is just, it's one of those Pokemon that I feel, with exactly how we're playing it with the Throat Spray set, that when we're winning, it's great. But if we need to establish our board position, it's a Pokemon that's, like, really, really hard to, like, fit in early. And again, I don't want to waste my max move on it, or my Maximon on it. So there's the P2 Kyogre. Awesome. Works for me. And so you see like how Yveltal here, it's okay. Like obviously a Snarl will be really good, but like Suicune has Snarl. We don't need 1,000 Snarls. We can just go for like a Volt Switch into the P2. They trace Inner Focus. It's not that big of a deal. It could also still be Scarf Ogre, realistically. Like Scarf Ogre, Trick Room, and then they bring out something weird. That could also might just be some other weird Porygon set. I'm just gonna go for the Snarl, and like I said, I can just go for Electro here too. No, I'll go for the Volt Switch. I'll Volt Switch the Ogre. It's fine. I don't really need to care. If you want to protect your Ogre and Trick Room me, that's fine. They're maxing probably Ogre. It's a Beast Ball. Max P2? No way. Alright, Max Ogre, good. Cool. It's probably vested. Realistically, it's probably vested. So we're going to Volt Switch into our Ferrothorn to block that Max Geyser. Hopefully block it. Ferro, please don't die. And, it's good damage. Hopefully no policy. Alright, so if Ferro's up, we're going to get a Snarl off here too. And if you're triggering me, like, I will just max the Ferrothorn and go for a, I don't even need to max it. I can just go for a Power Whip. Just got to hit it. Snarl. Oh, Snarl before Ogre's so good for me. Oh my goodness. That's massive. That's absolutely massive. That means you're just not going to do anything here. I mean, it's a lot still. Realistically, I think what I'm going to do is actually Leech Seed the P2. Because I think that's going to be more of a threat than the Kyogre. Because, like, I guess you could switch out your P2 for Torkoal, but then that would be turning off your own steroid. And if I stick the Leech Seed on the Torkoal, that's just as good. You know, I can just kind of sit here and use Snarl with the Suicune all day, and just stick my Leech Seed into the P2 slot. And Torkoal doesn't want to switch on a Snarl either, so this is a good situation for me. Man, Suicune is just so freaking good, man. What an absolutely amazing Pokemon. I'd feel just a little bit safer though if we had a different item. Any sort of damage reduction berry. Switching out the Kyogre. Didn't that happen in the last game? That happened to me recently. Someone switched out Kyogre after like one turn. It's busted. There's the boy. He still doesn't want to switch on the Snarl. I wonder what move the P2's going for. Let's see. Leech Seed would... Well, I need to hit it. Okay, I was going like, I need to hit this Leech Seeds. I need to hit these Snarls. Eerie Impulse Suicune. Absolutely fine. Ain't no thing. Do what you want to do. And they're probably going to switch the P2 relatively soon. But if you switch in the Kyogre, it turns off your Torkoal, right? So it's like a value. Absolute value. I'm just going to protect with the Pharaoh and just chill. You can wait at your own Trick Room. I still have a max. Like, I have a big Lecky. I have a big Reshi in the back. I hope I don't get, like, Solar Beamed here. That'd be lame. No, we switch out the Pharaoh here for Reshi. It's the right play. Pharaoh's relatively healthy enough, and, like, you could Eerie Impulse me, but, like, I'd rather just start being a bully with the Reshi now. And we have a Leech Seed tick on that slot, so if you want to stay in and go for, like, stuff with that P2, like, I don't really care. But, like, protecting is not enough tempo for Ferrothorn there. I'm not really afraid of the Eerie Impulse either. Like, I'm really just not. You can get as many Trick-Rooms up as you want. Like, the fact is, I'm going to win this game with Leech Seeds, I think. Eruption's fine. Suicune, thick. Eerie Impulse into that Reshi slot. It's absolutely fine. It really doesn't even matter. Because the fact that we have the Leech Seed ticking on that Porygon means eventually it's going to have to recover. Like, eventually we're going to get into a spot where, like, the Porygon... We're eventually going to bring in the Reshi, policy proc our Reshi, and then just win the game. Because, like, if it's these three plus Ogre, what do we think their last Mon is? They're probably switching out the P2 right now, by the way. Future on TR. Their last Mon is probably Zacian. And that's fine. Like, Suicune's good versus that. So on next turn, we're going to use Tailwind. Probably. Yeah, we just go for a raw Earth Power Wave. We don't need to do anything spectacular here. You can Eerie Impulse me till the cows come home. You can switch to the B2. That's absolutely fine. Bring in your Ogre. Turn off your Torkoal. Bring in your Zacian. Okay, it's fine. But I don't get Heat Waved. Heat Wave would still do a lot. Yawn Torkoal. Okay. Yeah, even Lum Suicune might be a good option too. Know that these are all damage reduction berries and stuff like that that work. Like Calyrex doesn't necessarily pin Suicune from using like a electric reduction berry or like a grass reduction berry. It's usually like Astral is like a ghost attack. So they'd have to have the right teammates to even be able to correctly pin the Suicune. Now let's think about this. You could totally yawn my boy here. I think you're actually clicking the Eruption. I don't want to get put to sleep though. I really don't. But I will Tailwind here. And I will Heat Wave. I don't want to get put to sleep. Like, I'm also not afraid of you. You know what I mean? Oh. Kyger? It's fine with me if you bring a Kyger. It doesn't matter. I just switch in the Pharaoh next turn. If I even want to. So we've seen all 4 of their mons too, which is great. I'd love a burn on somebody. That'd be savage. Burn, burn, burn. Never lucky. Now Reshi outspeeds. I can stack Quakes even with my weak-ass Mon here. Yeah, that's why we don't want to switch in the Pharaoh there. Because we would have just lost it. Oh, yeah, go to the Pharaoh. Just restart it all. Yeah, Suicune's just gonna be fodder for the next few turns, I think. And then, like, yes, we're at -2. This is such a weird looking play, but I think it's right. We're gonna lose one of our Mons here, I think. And then be able to regain the board state correctly. I actually think the Zacian's protecting this turn. Just to potentially waste max turns for me and waste my Tailwind turns. I'd protect if I was Zacian or switch it. Yeah, that's a good play for me. You can come with that P2 all you want, buddy. That was a greedy play for me, but I think it's still the right one. Trace Transistor. Good thing it didn't trace the other ability. Orange Pulse can miss on... Could have missed on the Lucky. Never lucky. Sash is up. I don't think the Kyger has Protect. I think it's vested. Well, it's not actually vested. Let's think about this. We just double into Porygon here. And put it within range for Ferrothorn to deal with next turn. Because Reshi can still dump truck that Torkoal. Knew it. I was like, it couldn't be vested because it took too much damage from the first Volt Switch. So you're going to get your Trick Room up. Can't stop the Trick Room. But, like, I can get your P2 into a position where it's massively punished. Like, next turn, I can just go... Like, if you Trick Room here, I can actually just come into a situation where I can just Power Whip you out. And I can then max into your Kyger slot. Sick. Yep. You have a Torkoal that's slow. Let's actually think about what the play is here. I don't know if I want to max. We gotta get the Porygon off the board. That's the thing. I'm thinking about maxing the Pharaoh, actually. Because, like, if I miss his power up, I lose. It's fine. If I miss his power up, I lose the game. Kyger's Protects on cooldown. I think this is the best turn. So basically, if I get a double KO here, right? If I get a double KO here, you have to bring out Torkoal Zacian. If you have to bring out Torkoal Zacian, you can yawn my Reshi. But if you yawn, you're not erupting. And if you're erupting, I just KO your Zacian or your Torkoal, and you can't stop both. I'll just have a Mon advantage going into the late game. I have to hit Power Whip, though. Have to hit Power Whip. Let's go. I think it's going to be game. You probably underspeed my Reshi here, but, like, it's fine. Yep. Oof, that's a lot. Is that a crit on my Pharaoh? No. Wow, it's just a lot of damage. It has to be Mystic Water then. Or Sea Incense. Ooh, that doesn't even get the KO. Yeah, he's really bulky. I guess our Reshiram doesn't have a ton of bulk. I also didn't want to go for a Whirlwind there just in case they switched in Zacian. I guess, yeah, that kind of backfired a little bit. But I got the Porygon off the board. Porygon, right? Zacian's not coming out. It has to be Torkoal. Has to be Torkoal here, which means we can just go Protect Quake, which means if you might yawn me. But if you yawn me, you don't have the tools to beat the Pharaoh Thorn in the back anymore. You just also turned off your Ogre. Let me think about this. This is actually a complex play. If I were to go for... Turns on Trick Room, let me just check this. 2, 3. If I were to go for a Protect here, and you yawn my Reshi, I'm sad. If you're, I think that you actually just Leech Seed and Quake. I think that's actually just the play. Because if you yawn the Reshi, I KO your Torkoal and stick the Leech Seed. If you go for an Eruption, you KO my Pharaoh, I still take out your Torkoal. And if I take out the Torkoal, you can't ever yawn the Reshi. If you can't ever yawn the Reshi, I don't think I'll ever lose. It's fine. Yeah, I don't think this is an L. This is just stopping your yawn for the remainder of the game. And then all I have to do is realistically just wait out the Trick Room, and then my Alecki wins. If you stuck that yawn into my Reshi though, and I didn't get a punish for it with like a Leech Seed Pharaoh, I probably could have lost this game. Yeah, because then this turn all we have to do is just double into the... We just go into the Kyber this turn. We do need to send this Suicune out. It sucks because it's asleep, but like it is what it is. Because we need to wait out the Trick Room. I think their only out here is realistically like me... This is a hard situation here. I can't take that much more damage on Reshiram. Realistically, I can't take a lot more. That Kyber's within lucky range. All I gotta do is wait out Trick Room. So I think you actually just Max Flare that slot. Doesn't really matter what move you go for here. Don't want to Tailwind this first turn though. Yeah, I think you just Max Flare the Zacian. I think that's the only way I lose is if like I overrespect Kyogre and lose my way to actually deal damage to the Zacian. If like they play rough it, they make a read. Protect's fine. Like there's nothing wrong with Protect Zacian here. I'm not, because I can just double into it next turn with the Reshi. I can Heat Wave next turn. They missed on somebody. Missed on Reshi. We take those. Cool. That works. I think we're just going to actually Earth Power next turn. I think, yeah, Earth Power definitely get the KO. We don't have to miss a Heat Wave. He's going to have to go for a double Protect, but also, like, now he looks to be within range for Alecki to go for a Volt Switch against 2. Cool stuff. Something out. Last turn Trick Room. Realistically, Tailwind's better here in case they do hit the double Protect. Reshiram will be able to outspeed him next turn. If Suicune wakes up. You got double? Yep, and they hit it. Easy. Like, that's the right play. Like, I'm not even mad that that's what they did. That's the right play. Yep. And I did the right play. Punished. All right. That's so sick. You got a triple back there, buddy? You got a triple? Absolutely punished. Oh, that was so sick. Oh, man, this team's really good. This team's really, really, really good. I think everything on this team is done very, very well. I like the EV spreads that were submitted on a lot of the Mons. I think the only changes I would make is I think Alecki doesn't necessarily need Reflect. I'm sure it's there to help against like Trick Room teams where you kind of just like allow them to get up Trick Room, you trade for a Reflect and then Volt Switch or switch out. I understand. That's good. If that's why you like it, that's fine. I personally sometimes think, you can tell by the couple games that I played with the Regieleki, that you want just a little bit more damage to trade versus those bulky mons like Incin and Zacians. I also think your Suicune might still be benefiting from like a different berry. A Citrus, you know, a Walk-In. I would use the Walk-In because it makes it so you can just lead with it against almost anything. You lead versus Thundy, you can lead versus Lecky. Yes, you can't lead versus Rilla, but if they lead Rilla, you could switch in your Lando as a teammate to mitigate it, or you can switch in your Ferrothorn to make it so they, you know, take rough skin damage and stuff like that. So I think realistically, like a Walk-In or a Citrus might be a little more value on the Suicune. Other than that, you could also even put the lefties in the Suicune and maybe put like a Choppleberry on the Ferrothorn. That way you're not even weak against Zacian. It's just a thought. But yeah, I really, really, really did enjoy this team. Thank you so much for submitting it. And I think I might actually just play with this team like next week too, because it was just a lot of fun to play with. So we might be playing some more games next week with it, because this team just plays a really, really grindy game, and it features Pokemon I like. Literally, my favorite restricted Pokemon is Reshiram, and my favorite just regular legendary Pokemon is Suicune. So it makes sense that I would really, really like this team, and it doesn't get much more winning with your favorites than actually winning with your favorites. So if this team had a Butterfree instead of Lando, I'd be sailing with how much I like this team. But other than that, I love the team. Thank you so much for submitting it, and yeah, peace out everybody, and I'll see you guys next time.